our Lord giving those excellent buffs that he does to his army. You can see the Havoc squad just hanging around back home right now. The vehicle is off the field. They should be used for capping or something at least. Never leave any squads at home, even if there aren't any vehicles. Use that AV squad to capture. Looks like these heretics are gonna give these Imperial Guardsmen a scare. Boom! An excellent Doom Blast. Definitely picked off a couple of them, but they are gonna get out without too much effort. You can see it looks like he might be able to pick off a couple more members with these, getting a couple departing shots here. Not too much trouble. Forced melee a little bit, but ultimately no major damage to that squad. The Ogrins are on the field getting upgraded with the Bonehead ability, and the Commissar Lord now with Stubbornness and getting himself a Flak Jacket as well. So that'll really add to the Commissar Lord's tankiness. Retreating almost immediately from that. I feel like he could have stuck around there a bit. He'd had a reasonable squad, but that's a reasonable choice. He's got some good map control. You can see it a little bit. Don't want to lose too much. Now a second Havoc squad. Very curious. I guess that's going to be in response to the Ogrins really trying to have some suppression on the field to keep them under control. At this point, you really have to keep your Chaos Heretics between the Ogrins and your ranged army to keep them suppressed and slow them down while you can get some shots in. The Corn Marines and Siege Marines will do some excellent damage to these Ogrins, but ultimately you just need something in there to hold them down during their bone rush. VPs have been going back and forth pretty steadily here. You can see the Commissar Lord now changing his Power Fist to the Fist of Brocus, which will give him the None-Shell Fall ability, which will keep all his men in the fight for the duration of the ability. You can see here comes a nice melee rush on top of these Ogrins. Oh, and Touch of Nurgle being triggered on top of the Heretic squad. Always love that. That's pretty much the squad that's begging to be used. And he needs to pull those back, though. They are quite low. The heal refreshed them a bit, and there goes the None-Shell Fall ability, keeping those last two Ogrins up a little bit there. And then the two Corn Marines got in on the Imperial Guardsmen, and they don't stand a chance against that. They're just going to go ahead and get the heck out of there. I feel like this would be an excellent time to use the retreat cancel on the Commissars for these squads. You could turn around and defend this generator farm here instead of retreating all the way back to base. You could really get some good shots in with two fully upgraded plasma squads on those Corn Marines. And if nothing else, force him off of that power so he can't decap that while you distract him. Meanwhile, OmniscentGaunt getting himself a heavy weapons team. Gonna try to help him deal with that melee a little bit right now. And ultimately, Baac taking back the entire map here. Gonna get the triple cap going again and really bleed away at OmniscentGaunt's victory points here. And now, once you have Stubbornness, you really have to keep your Commissar Lord near your Imperial Guardsmen to get full effect of that and really keep that healing at maximum. You can see him moving in here, not pursuing his opponent, just trying to get back these victory points quickly. When you got a triple cap, that really needs to be your priority because the game can be over in a matter of minutes under those circumstances. You can see the Havoc squad did finally manage to get assigned to some capping duty there and moving on up to the field. Meanwhile, Baac using his secondary Havoc squad as suppression support against the Ogrins. And Plague Champion still just hanging out with his mucus discharge. And there's the suppression, worked out exactly how OmniscentGaunt wanted that to. Now he can pull his guardsmen back and turn and fire on these Corn Marines without much worry. That does rout Baac's push here and gives OmniscentGaunt a good deal of map control back. You can see the Heretics charging in, realizing they're not going to be able to stand up to those great big Ogrins. And he really needs something to deal with this Havoc squad here. He should move these Ogrins, should have come down and cut that off, really could have dealt with that suppression better. But it looks like he's going to flank with his Commissar Lord and move in on that Havoc to grab the VP. Another squad of Chaos Space Marines by Baac. I'm not sure what his plan is here. No vehicles, no nothing. You can see he could have used that wreck for any other number of things. He's floating an insane amount of power. He's got 300 power right now. Not sure what his plan is with this. Hasn't brought any vehicles or demons on the field. Demons, of course, have excellent synergy with the Plague Marines' worship. Getting, of course, the normal heal and regen, plus the added benefit of the Plague Champion's natural heal from his heretic worship. But sticking solely to heretics and Space Marines this game. But unfortunately, it's worked out for him so far, but unfortunately I think with these Ogrins and the Suppression Squad, you can really shut down the composition of Baac's army. Those Ogrins managed to stay on the field with the none shell fall ability, but he's going to need to get those out of there not long after that wears off, because they will start falling pretty quickly, being so low HP. And again, the suppression, this heavy weapons team can just completely counter the entirety of Baac's army because he's chosen to get so many of his Chaos Space Marines.
Order, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Unfortunately, it's been a bit of weird builds for both sides. No vehicles on either side. You always see the Imperial Guard pretty vehicle heavy. OmniscentGaunt floating a crazy amount of resource right now, possibly waiting for that Baneblade to get on the field. But really, at this point, another Chimera or even a Manticore to help hold the victory points, since he is pretty low on that aspect, could really help out his map presence.
Glory is loyalty perfected.
With these two fully upgraded and pretty high level, oh no, both level 2 Imperial Guard squads, I just feel like a Chimera would be a good choice, especially with the suppression to keep the Khorne heretics away from it. I'm not sure where the Commissar's going. He's just running around with his fist flying in the air, possibly trying to flank this Havoc squad. And it looks like Baac is going to push into Tier 3 now as well. Really, again, not necessary. There's nothing that Baac can't handle with a Tier 2 force right now on the field. Again, I'm not sure why he's not chosen to get either a Blood Crusher or, at this point with the heavy weapons team on the field, a Bloodletter squad even, but sticking exclusively to the Space Marines.
Message received, sir.
OmniscentGaunt now harassing some more with his Lord Commissar, but he's in a bit of trouble. He needs to get out of there. He could be focusing the Lord Commissar now and take him out very quickly with those two squads of Cinch Chaos Marines. But now they are suppressed by the heavy weapons squad. He had his moment and now lost, unfortunately, his Plague Champion as well. And there it is. There's the Baneblade in build for OmniscentGaunt. Once that hits the field, unless Baac really has something to deal with it, that'll probably be the game for him. Really not much in the ways of anti-vehicle power, and of course the Baneblade is the biggest and baddest of all the vehicles. You see the final squad of Chaos Space Marines upgrading to Cinch. Baac deciding to go 2 Cinch and 2 Khorne, giving him some amazing ranged and melee DPS, but as I've said, ultimately no utility for his army there.
Message received.
And now you can see he's at 87 pop cap right now, which really not going to give him the opportunity to get much more. Dropping a defensive bunker here, probably going to stick that heavy weapons team inside of there. It looks like he's got to be careful that the Khorne Marines are flanking the heavy weapons squad. He's going to pull them back, but I'm not sure it's going to be quick enough. The Ogrins also very low on the health, needing to fall back there. And the heavy weapons squad does fall. He needed to retreat that pretty much as soon as those Khorne Marines got on it. This bunker, unfortunately, a waste of red, really. He could have instead used that, used the Commissar flare on this suppression squad or the Cinch Marines and really just destroyed any of his ranged DPS. He does have a triple cap, so falling back at this point in the game isn't going to hurt him too bad. He's got Baac in a pretty tight spot once that Baneblade moves up to one of the victory points. Baac's not going to be able to deal with that at all. Looks like he's just going to push it right up the center and go ahead and head over to Baac's natural power farm and victory point right now. You can see it looks like the Havoc squad did manage to get all the way back and capture the requisition, but he needed to move back and get that VP as well at this point in the game. If he doesn't capture another one within the next few seconds, that's pretty much going to be it for him. These Siege Marines not able to deal with the Commissar Lord, and by the sound of it, sounds like that Baneblade is in the fight now. Not going to be able to do much about those close-range Corn Marines, but he can certainly blast away at those heretics if he chooses. Needed to take at least a shot at them. They're going to go ahead and capture the northern victory point now. With the combined forces, the Baneblade and the Guardsmen are going to force that squad of Corn Marines right off the field.
So we're losing a victory point up.
Baac's now upgraded his second Havoc squad with the mark of Sinch here, and finally getting himself a squad of demons. All right, hopefully that'll be in time to make a difference here, but I'm not sure. It's pretty late. He did drop a Plague Cloud, but it looks like it wasn't quite on target. You don't want to drop that after a battle, or you want to drop that kind of in the middle of a battle and catch some, either catch their units on retreat or just, oh no, the whole Heretic squad falls very quickly to the Baneblade and its following Guardsmen. Tried to get that point, was really just hoping to hold out for that. Meanwhile, the Commissar Lord's moving in to get the final cap here. And that looks like it's probably going to be the game for Baac. Again, using that Nun-Shell Fall ability. A very cool ability, of course, but I feel like the Bionic Eye is much more potent. Really could have held on to the Power Sword or the regular Power Fist and gotten himself some different buffs on the Ogre. And I didn't see him using his Inspire Courage ability very much either. You can see a big old pile of Chaos Space Marines hanging out here. Ultimately, I say this game isn't much about build order, but it was very much Baac's build order that sealed the deal for him in this game. He really needed to vary his army a bit more and present some different threats for OmniscentGaunt to deal with. And since he did choose to go very straightforward DPS army, OmniscentGaunt was able to tech very quickly and get the big bad Baneblade on the field. So pretty cool game. That was our Space Marine CCS game there for you. And hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. This is Red-Rupee. Catch you guys later.